So same as usual, working at your own pace, making sure that nothing is causing pain or discomfort as in joint pain. Muscular discomfort entirely up to you. If you need to stop and stretch, stop and rest, to do it whenever you need, and then starting again when you're ready to do so. If you're seated, trying to find that comfortable position on the chair that allows you to sit reasonably upright, so you're not compressing through the diaphragm, you're not squashing down the front of the body, preventing the diaphragm from descending and ascending into that nice relaxed breath. So see if I can give myself a little bit more space so that I can focus on the lower breath, thinking of the ribs, the lower ribs and the belly moving with the inhalation and exhalation. If I'm laying down easy enough, I'm just going to let the mat, let the floor support my weight and just relax. Relaxing the legs, relaxing the arms, allowing the head to drop onto the floor, putting a little pillow below the head if I need a little support. And then trying to get that nice, soft, relaxed breath going. Just noticing, doing the usual scan over the body. So do I feel any niggle, any tension at the moment? Where is the tension? Do I feel straight or do I feel slightly wonky? Is the pressure different between the left and the right side of the body? So if I'm sitting down, am I putting more pressure on one seat than the other? If I'm lying down, do I feel more pressure on one side of the body compared to the other? I'm not changing anything, just noticing where the body is and how it feels to begin with. As I feel a little bit more settled, a little bit more relaxed, I'm going to start focusing on the rib cage. I'm just going to start going into a little rotation. So if I'm seated, I'm just going to cross the arms onto the chest, so rest them onto the chest. If I'm lying down, I might want to bring the arms to the front. So just get them out of the way so they don't impede the movement. And then I'm just going to start rotating gently from side to side. Imagine like a really rusty screw. So I'm just going to try and see if I can get the rust gradually off the screw and then turning gently from side to side. So just a little swing with the arms to help me rotate, keeping the arms across the front of the chest if I'm laying down on the mat, just loosening up the upper back. 10, 9, turning the head, turning the shoulders, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back, returning the body back to the center. And then this time I'm going to go for a little lateral flexion. So if I'm lying down, I'm going to support the head with one hand. If I'm sitting up, I'm just going to keep the arms nice and relaxed across the front of the chest. And then this time I'm going to start flexing from side to side. So reaching down one side of the body, pulling back to the center, reaching down the other side, pulling back to the center. So noticing that lateral flexion, that lateral movement. If I'm lying down, I can use the mat to guide me. So my head is slightly lifted from the ground, so it's not rubbing against the floor. I can move aside comfortably. If I'm seated, imagine to be sitting with your back against the wall, your hips, your shoulders, your head are on the wall. As I'm moving side to side, I want them to stay on the wall. I don't want them to pull away. So I'm not suddenly looking down at the legs. I'm not suddenly looking down at the floor. I'm still looking straight ahead. I'm still looking in front. The shoulders are relaxed. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back to center. Bringing yourself back to the centered position. And then I'm going to go into a little flexion extension. So I'm going to retract the shoulders. I'm going to squeeze the shoulder blades together, pushing the chest forward, see if I can try and lift, arch the back of the rib cage off the mat. Then I'm going to push the rib cage back and see if I can bring the shoulders, the front of the chest together at the front. And then I'm going to extend up again. So pushing the rib cage up to the ceiling and then pressing it down into the floor. Pushing it up to the ceiling and then pressing it back into the wall behind if I'm seated. So see if I can get some movement going through the thoracic spine, but this time I'm trying to work flexion, extension, flexion, extension. So mobilizing through the shoulder girdle, through the spine, and then see if I can get some movement also in sync between the spine and the ribs, or where the ribs attached to the spine. 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. And releasing back, releasing the shoulders, releasing the upper back. There's just a little bit more movement at the top. I want to try and focus a little bit more on rib movement. So I'm just going to rest the hands. I'm going to rest the palm of the hands against the lowest part of the rib cage. So think of your nipple line. I'm just going to go below the breast and then just rest the hands onto the rib cage right at the bottom. So I should clearly feel the rib cage going in through the middle, spreading out to the side. And then from there, I'm going to focus the breath onto the hands. So what I want is, as I inhale, I want to feel the rib cage. Imagine it like a fan opening out. And then as I exhale, I'm relaxing it back. So it's like a fan opening out and spreading wider. And then exhaling, I'm just going to let it relax back. So I'm going to inhale, try to expand it out. Exhale, I'm going to relax. In, I'm going to expand out. Out, I'm going to relax. As you're trying to get that breath going, notice can you really feel your ribs moving under your hands, or do you feel your shoulders and your neck are suddenly getting really stiff and really tense? Can you relax the neck? Can you relax the shoulders? Can you focus the breath at just where your hands are touching the rib cage? 4, 5, 6. See if I can start lengthening the breath. Making the inhalation a little bit longer. And the exhalation too. 7, 8, 9, 10. And release it back. Swallowing a couple of times, relaxing the breath, relaxing the arms. I'm going to try again, but this time, now that I can feel that the rib cage is moving, so I can feel that nice expansion right and left. What I want is to try and work in isolation. So I'll imagine to be able to breathe with one lung only. So just the right, just the left. So I'm going to place the hands where they were before, but this time I want the right side of the rib cage to keep still, the left side only to expand. So I'm going to try and focus on that left side. I'm going to try and send the breath under that left hand. And then I'm just going to relax. I'm going to repeat on that left side too. 3, 4, neck relaxed, jaw relaxed, One more. And relax. Relaxing the arms if you need to. We're going to switch the effort to the other side. So I'm going to keep the left side nice and still. And then this time, see if I can breathe on the right. So I'm going to expand the right side only. And relax. Expand the right side only. And relax. 3. 4. Last one. And release. Relaxing the shoulders again. Swallowing a couple of times. Hopefully the rib cage feels a little bit more relaxed. It feels a bit bigger, a bit wider. So I'm going to try and see if I can replay the same spinal movement that I practiced before. Then noticing if that feels a little bit easier, same, or harder. So I'm going to start off with a rotation. So same as before, I'm just going to stick the arms to the front or cross the arms onto the chest, and then I'm just going to start rolling from shoulder to shoulder, from side to side. It's a nice easy movement, turning the head to follow the shoulders around. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And easing back. And relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the neck, changing the position of the arms, taking the hand to the back of the head for support if I'm lying down on the back. And then I'm just going to try and practice my lateral flexion from side to side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and releasing back. And then going into flexion extension, drawing the shoulder blades together, pushing the chest forward, pushing the chest up, and then pushing the rib cage into the floor, into the back wall, rounding the shoulders, pulling them forward. So extension into a little flexion. Arching the rib cage away from the mat if I'm lying down. Trying to push the chest forward as much as I can if I'm sitting up. And then taking advantage of the space if I'm seated, see if I can really round the shoulders, round the upper back. If I'm lying down, the space is limited in flexion, but I can still get some movement going. If I want to make it bigger, I can always lift the head off the floor. 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. And releasing back. Releasing the shoulders, releasing the back. So hopefully a little bit more movement through the spine. We're going to see if we can start getting the shoulders involved or the shoulder joint involved. So if I'm laying down, I'm just going to find a comfortable position for the legs. And then one arm at a time, I'm going to start raising the right arm up to the front. And then I'm going to take it back as far up, as far back as I can, making sure that the movement of the arm is not pulling on my chest. So my rib cage is not suddenly lifting up, my back is not being pulled off the floor of the mat. As the right arm returns, I'm going to reach the left. As the left arm returns, I'm going to reach the right. So it doesn't matter if the arm movement is small, just making sure that you're not trying to force the arm, so there's no pain in the shoulder, and there is no arching, there is no compensation about arching the back. If I'm seated, gravity is working against me, so the arms tends to be a lot heavier, so the movement might be a little bit smaller. Make sure that you're not shrugging the shoulder up to the head, so I'm not stiffening the neck to get the arm up. I'm trying to keep the neck as relaxed as possible, so I can turn my head. There is no tension that is holding my neck solid, that is holding my neck stiff. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back, releasing the shoulders, so releasing the upper back. This is a little bit more movement through the shoulder girdle. It's just a little bit more movement into the shoulder joint. I'm going to change the direction of the movement. So raising the arms to the front, I'm going to start opening the arms to the side this time. So with the right arm, I'm going to open to the right, come back to center. With the left, I'm going to open to the left, come back to center, right to the right, back to the center, left to the left. If you're seated, again, the arms tends to get quite heavy quite quickly. So the shoulder fatigues and then the neck tends to kick in and try to help. Think instead of shrugging the shoulder, think of dropping the arm. So I can still open the arm to the side without lifting it too high and keeping it going so that the neck is staying relaxed. So I can turn my head and move my arm at the same time. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing down. Releasing the shoulders, giving the shoulders a little roll. It's a little bit more movement. I'm going to change the direction one more time. I'm going to go for a little lateral raise. So think of a snow angel, but with one arm at a time. So I'm going to scoop the right arm round at the side, just scooping it up towards the head. Bring the arm back and then scooping the left arm. And then going back onto the right. So same as I've been doing so far. It could be a little movement. I might need to bring the arm slightly forward to the body line. It doesn't matter. It's just as big or small as it works for my right as it works for my left shoulder. So again, noticing any stiffening into the neck, any tension into the shoulders. Just my neck feeling as it's getting shorter and shorter and shorter. Can I lengthen it out? Can I sit taller? Can I stretch myself longer down the mat? 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back, releasing the shoulder, relaxing the arm. And then I'm just going to see if I can open up a little bit more around the back. So I'm just going to hug the right arm around the front of the chest. So I'm going to try with the right hand to reach as far behind that left shoulder or the left side of the rib cage as I possibly can. And then with the left, I'm going to cross over the top, and then I'm going to try and hug myself the other way. So I'm just going to try and give myself the tightest hug possible. And then holding it steady there. See if you can almost like try to hook your hands around your shoulder blades. and then holding on to the shoulder blades. And see if you can picture your breath coming into the center of the rib cage at the back. So I'm going to inhale, I'm going to try and expand the space between the shoulder blades. And then as I exhale, I'm going to relax. Inhale, I'm going to try and expand it. Exhale, I'm going to relax. 3, 4, 5, and then I'm going to cross the arms the other way. So I'm going to release the hug, and then I'm going to hug myself crossing the arms the other way around. Trying to hook the hands as far around the shoulders as possible. And then same, see if you can focus the breath into the space between the shoulder blades. So see if you can picture the back of the rib cage becoming wider as you inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. 5, and release. Releasing the hug, relaxing the shoulders. And then I'm going to start moving down into the lower back. So starting off with a little pelvic tilt, just to see if I can release any stiffness, any tension down from the base of the spine. So tilting the pelvis back, I'm going to press the lower back gently into the mat. If I'm seated, imagine to be sitting with your back against the wall. I'm trying to get my lower back to push into the wall. And then rocking forward, back into neutral, and then tilting back. To see if I can create just a little movement from the pelvis into the lower back. So tilting and releasing that tilt. Tilting and releasing the tilt. Working through the abdomen, the abdominal wall, tensing and releasing as I get my little tilt going forward and back. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and releasing back. Bring the hips back to the center, and then from a anterior posterior tilt, I'm going to start going into a little hip hitch. So I'm going to start lifting side to side. So I'm going to hitch the right hip up towards the right side of the rib cage, and then the left hip towards the left. So I can feel the pelvis moving again. This time, instead of moving forward and back, it's moving side to side. So again, if I'm laying down, the pelvis should stay flat against the mat. It's just a slide up and down on the side. If I'm seated, imagine to be taking the pressure off one seat bone. So I'm going to try and make my right seat bone lighter, and then try to make my left seat bone lighter. So it's a little tension through the obliques into the side of the belly, into the side of the body to create the little hitch, to create the little lift. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and releasing back, resetting the hips. Hopefully the lumbar feels a little bit looser. I'm going to focus on the legs. First thing, I want to try and lengthen through the inside of the leg. So I'm going to shuffle the feet and the knees nice and close together. And then I'm just going to let the knees flop out to the side. So if I'm lying down, I'm just going to let gravity do the work. So I'm just going to let the knees drop, and then gravity, so the weight of the legs are just gradually pulling them towards the floor. If I'm seated, obviously gravity doesn't work with me, so I need to help myself using the arms. So I'm just going to push with the hands out into the legs, see if I can think of lengthening through. Maybe with a gentle massage, starting from the knees, pulling through the inner thigh. See if I can try and release through the inside of the legs. See if I can think of helping softening that muscle. See if I can try and relax through the adductors to the inner thighs. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Bring the legs back to the center, giving the legs a little shake if I need to, maybe a little rub, and then I'm going to focus it just on the right side. So I'm going to keep the left leg nice and still, and then I'm just going to start opening and closing the right. So I'm going to open, close back to center, open, close back to center. This time I want to try and keep control of the weight of the leg. So especially if you're lying down, the tendency is to kind of like let the leg drop to the side and then almost like to swing it back. See if you can try and stop before you reach the bottom of your range, the bottom of the movement. So I'm going to open it. I'm going to keep hold onto the leg, and then I'm just going to pull it straight back. So I'm not going to let go of the leg. I'm not letting the leg flop this time. I want to keep that tension going out and then coming back in. As usual, if I feel that I need a little support, then I can use the hand to help me guiding the leg out or helping me bringing it back in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Relaxing the leg, relaxing the hip. I'm going to try the same thing, but focusing on the left side this time. So opening the left leg out to the left, the right leg keeps still, and then bringing it back to the center. Same as you did on the right side. See if you can try and keep holding on to the leg. So I'm not going to let the leg flop, I'm not letting it drop, I'm just going to keep holding on to it, pulling it back in again. So open it to the side, and then pulling it back in again. And then again, noticing maybe this leg feels a little bit stiffer or a lot heavier, harder to move, or it might feel quite easy, quite comfortable. See if I can try and keep the upper body relaxed. The arm could be helping, but I'm not tensing the shoulders, I'm not gripping with the arms, I'm not tensing and stiffening through the face or through the neck. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back, relaxing the hip, releasing the leg. I'm going to find a comfortable position for the leg, then find your hip bones, so the bit of the pelvis that kind of like sticks out, that points out at the front, and then with a nice soft fist, I'm just going to drum it all the way around that bone. So I should be able to feel it, that pointed bone, kind of like sticking out or pointing forward. I'm just going to drum all the way around it. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Relaxing the hips and releasing the arms, grabbing hold of your band or your strap. If it's a strap, so if it's not elastic, if it doesn't give, just keep it slightly slack. If it's one of the stretchy ones, I'm just going to keep it quite tight, not too tight, but making sure that it's not too floppy, or you will have to open the leg far too wide to feel the band. I'm going to put a little knot or a little bow in place to hold it so that it doesn't come undone. And then from there, I'm going to set it close to the knees, but not on the knee joint. So it's not, it's on the femur, it's on the leg bone, on the thigh bone, but it's not actually touching my patella. I'm going to shuffle the feet nice and close together. And then same as I did before, I'm just going to try and push out with both legs. So this time I can't let the legs flop. I have to actively work at opening the legs out. And then I'm going to close them back in again. So I'm going to try and spread them out. And then I'm going to let them come back in again. So I'm going to try and put tension into the band. So it could be a little tension. It could be quite a lot of tension. It doesn't matter, just to see if you can feel a change in the band. So from a kind of like reasonably floppy, loose band, see if I can try and make it a little bit tighter. And then I'm just going to ease back. And then same as I've been doing so far, if I feel that I need a little guidance, I'm just going to use the hands to help me guide the legs where I want them to go. So I want them to go out. I'm going to push them out, and then to come back in, I'm just going to let the band pull them back together again. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. Last one. And releasing back. Relaxing the hips. I'm just going to undo the band. Pushing the band to one side, giving the legs a little shake, a little walk, making sure that the hip doesn't feel stiff, it doesn't feel tight. And then this time I'm just going to focus on the back of the leg. I want to try and lengthen the back of the leg. So if I'm lying down, I'm just going to set the band around the right foot. Nice and flat against the foot so that it's not going to roll, it's not going to snap off. If I'm seated, I've got two options. I can still put the band around the foot and then straightening up the leg. I can either pull the leg towards me, which most of the time is quite heavy to lift, or I just can ease myself towards the leg. So I should be able to feel a little stretch down into the back of the leg, through the back of the calf. And then because the band is around the foot, if the band is around the foot, I should be able to feel quite a nice stretch coming down through the Achilles into the foot. So if I'm laying down, I'm just going to raise the leg up, pulling it gently towards me until I can feel the stretch coming down the back of it. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and easing back. Easing the tension off the leg. I'm going to switch the band around the left foot and then set the same position on the other side. So if I'm lying down, I'm going to straighten up the left leg. And then easing that leg towards me until I can feel the pull coming up the back of the leg, into the back of the knee, back of the calf, all the way through the Achilles. If I'm seated, same as before, I can try and straighten up the leg as much as I can, and either pulling the leg towards me or trying to ease myself forward and towards the leg. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back. Easing the tension of the band, giving the leg a little walk, a little shake. So it's a little bit more length down the back of the leg. Same as I did for the inner thigh, I want to try and create a little tension into the back of the leg now. So I'm going to walk the feet. If I'm seated, I'm going to walk the feet just a little bit closer to the chair. And then imagine to be wanting to stand off the chair. So I'm going to rock forward over the legs and then pushing down through the soles of the feet to see if you can think of lifting your seat bones, the bum off the chair. And then I'm going to sit myself back down. Then again, I'm going to ease forward, push up, and then coming down. Using the arms down by the side to give a little support if I need to. If I'm lying down, I'm just going to bridge up. So pushing down through the soles of the feet, I'm going to drive my way up into a lift, a little lift, a big lift, whichever is easier. And then I'm just going to ease my way back down. Then again, I'm going to drive my way up into the lift. And then ease my way back down. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, last one. 10. And easing back, relaxing the legs, releasing the hips. Just a little bit more activation through the hips and into the legs. I want to change the tension. Instead of working through the back, I'm going to try and see if I can work into, into the front. So if I'm laying down, I'm going to put the ball between my right thigh and both hands, or the right hand only. You can use a pillow, towel, anything, just as if I put my hand directly onto the leg. I tend to strain because I'm overreaching with the arm, so straining the neck. If I'm seated, I can still use the ball, or I can just put my hand directly onto the leg as I'm closer to the leg. And then from there, with the hand, I'm going to try and push the leg away. With the leg, I'm going to try and push against the hand. So I should be able to feel the hip joint kind of like gripping, tightening, locking. And then I'm just going to relax and unlock. So I'm going to try and lock it and unlock it. Lock it and unlock it. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And relaxing the leg, relaxing the hip, exactly the same thing with the left side. So I'm going to put the ball against the thigh or the left hand straight onto that left leg. And then I'm just going to push with the arm and then trying to push with the leg and then relax. So I'm trying to lift the foot off the ground, but pushing the leg away with the arm and relax. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and releasing back, relaxing the hips and releasing the legs. When you're ready, rolling over onto your side. If you're lying down, pushing yourself up into sitting. So finding your comfortable seated position, same as we did at the beginning. See if you can find something that allows you to sit reasonably upright, so to create a space at the front, so making sure that the rib cage is not dropping onto the belly, squashing the belly, and then so pressing the diaphragm from underneath. So see if I can try and find that nice relaxed belly grab, the shoulders are relaxed, and the neck feels long. And then once that I feel that I'm stable in my seated position, maybe leaning against something, I'm going to start extending. So sending the breastbone forward, I'm going to push the chest forward, lift it up. Think of your shoulders dropping at the back. And then lifting the head, I'm going to look forward, I'm going to look up, I'm going to look back. And then I'm going to release. Coming forward, letting the chin come down to the chest, the shoulders roll forward. I'm going to let myself roll as far down as I can. And then I'm curling back up again. Extending as I get to the top, lifting the breastbone, rolling the shoulders back, looking forward, looking up, looking back. And then releasing, coming forward. Letting the chin drop, the shoulders come forward as far as I feel in control. And then coming back again. Last time, extending up, sending the breastbone forward, extending, lifting as much as you can. And then releasing, coming back. One hand to the belly, one hand to the back. Take your bow, give yourself a couple down. Any question or anything as usual, please say. Remember, you need to unmute yourself.